Hi, I'm Ben Jolly. You're watching Enemy, and we're here with John Newman. So, how are things, John? How's your New Year, Christmas? How's everything going?
All right, I had that thing where I have like one day of eating crap and watching films, and then that's it. I'm ready to go again. I think it's all the time. And I'm also really excited about what's going on at the moment. So I think I knew that I had a single coming out on the 14th of January that's been like the first one in ages. So I was kind of like, all right, come on, New Year now. But, yeah.
So you've just been raring to go then?
Yeah, completely. And I think it's like 2 years since I left my last label and management and then started this whole new venture thing. So I've been like working on it so much. And it just seems like it's been forever to get going. I mean, at the beginning, the space was needed. But now I'm like completely focused and ready to go, you know.
How's like lockdown been for you? Has that been quite a difficult period? Obviously, going from touring and having plenty of shows to like having a calendar with nothing, I guess.
Yeah, and do you know what it is? It's like, it's not just like, I am a very proactive person and I think from doing years of touring, I'm like constantly on the go. But it's a really interesting thing actually, and I think a lot of musicians would agree that when you have like negative or doubts in your life or anything that's like you don't want to deal with, I'm one of these people, if I get in an argument, I'll walk away. And I think when touring, you kind of like, no matter if there's negatives in your life, like singles not doing that well or crap going on at home, or you don't like yourself as a person but you don't care, all these things that you don't know, when that opportunity to run and hide was taken away from me, I think I realized that I was actually miserable, like completely miserable, and so not happy with how my career was going and working and what I was doing and how I was doing it. And I realized that I was just running at 1,000 miles an hour to try and cover that up, taking the free champagne and getting the pictures on the red carpet and thinking that was success, when really I lost all vision of what success was. And it's the pure love and emotion of something doing well that you've created. So yeah, there was a lot to deal with at the beginning of it. It was like to sit down and deal with these emotions of me and who I am and how I can make myself better. I think that was really difficult and really hard, and turned out that I didn't have space for music to be able to do that. So I completely, like, literally pulled the alarm bell and got rid of my management and my label, because I just decided I'm not happy and I don't have any fight left in me. Like, and it was funny, like, as soon as I'd done that, I felt like this pressure release, A, to like feel better, B, like, you know, basically I was fucked. Like, I couldn't release music, so what was the point? And yeah. C, I had no responsibility. So it was like, I had to just focus on getting myself better mentally, get myself out of a really depressed state and some days suicidal state, and like get myself feeling good again. And then once I'd done that and life started feeling better, it never felt great until I opened my laptop and started creating something that wasn't like for anything but for me, just to enjoy. I wouldn't even sing on them tracks. I was like making these big long instrumental dance tracks that just made me feel great and emotional, and that's what music should be. So I'll never forget that, you know.
Definitely. So how did you like pull yourself out of that kind of depressed state? Like, what did you do to get yourself back to you?
I know it sounds crazy, but I love swimming in cold water. Like, I've got this and like meditating, and it was really weird actually. Like, I'm a crazy anxious person. Like, I get anxiety non-stop all the time, and my mum's missus, no, my missus's mum, she does like this crazy shit with her hands where she like heals you and like connects to you. And I remember being in Denmark, and she gave me this treatment. I just broke down crying, and she was like, "What are you crying at?" And I was like, I just not felt anxiety for so long and felt peace. And I realized that was like severe, and I was like, I need to deal with this. So, and then I learned that when I get in cold water, I don't feel that either, but because I'm distracted. So then I started doing that every day, and my anxiety started going. And when I realized my anxiety started going, it's when the stresses went as well. And I was like, I'm just stressed, man. And I'm just overthinking, a perfectionist about crap. And I was just like, why did music become this? You know, it's crazy, but yeah.
So I guess you kind of went back to when you were younger, then when you didn't have any pressure and you were just making things for the fun of it, I suppose.
So funny, I saw somebody post, I think a singer called Alyssa that I'm friends with posted, please comfort and please the child inside and you'll fix all your issues now. And that's so funny because it's so true. Like, I'm literally doing what I set out to do as a kid now, and where I started doing it before the glitz, the glamour, and everything that comes with success came around. Like, where, you know, like, I'm a studio cat. Like, I like to hide in my studio. It's my safe place, and always a bit scared to be famous. Like, that's a scary word for me. So, like, yeah, it's quite nice to get rid of all that. And also, like, how can you be famous in a pandemic unless you're doing shit dances on TikTok? And I wasn't going to be doing that.
I guess that wasn't something you wanted to get into.
No. So I was like, oh, well, actually, this is great. I'm just me now. And then I just started making, like, amazing experimental music and just doing what that kid always did in the bedroom. And then, yeah, it just felt so right because I was connecting to something from my childhood, you know. If I hadn't have been through the ups and the downs, I think I'd have still been sat there today going, the only reason I'm not doing well is because of the pandemic, nothing to do with music quality or nothing to do with that I've lost my heart in it or anything like that. So honestly, I think if I'm going to do this for like as long as I set out to do it for, because it's now it's just a hobby, and why should you stop doing a hobby? Then I'm glad that happened, because I just think I'd have burnt out way faster than, you know, I'd have crashed in a horrible accident, I think.
So is dance music something you've like always been into then?
I mean, to be honest, when I was a kid, I had a pair of rock pots that I wore to school and a pair of trackies around town. So it was like, I'm drinking WKDs on a Friday night in the north of England. So yeah, totally. I mean, we used to listen to like Donking House and Wigan Pier loads, but also,
really?
Yeah, it's so mental. But then like, I'd go home and like play on my decks. I'd like go to Leeds and like get these white labels and bring them home, and I'd like Agio for strings and playing these trance anthems from Ibiza. And like just all these amazing soulful vocals over amazing trance tracks that gave that euphoric feeling. And I think for me, music was a massive release, and it was always dance music when I was a kid. It's so funny how you start your career. There's this famous story of Amy Winehouse when she was doing a video shoot. I think it was like Back to Black. She'd been out all night and her hair looked really shit. So they went and got her a wig from Camden.
Right.
Those beehives. And that was the beehive. And I think that's so funny. That's like what happened at my career, that I captured this moment and this love of soul music, and I put this one streak in my hair for this video, and then I put this jacket on, and then bam, that's it. Don't be changing that. You know, like,
that's what you're pigeonholed as then, isn't it?
Yeah, you are that. Don't do anything different. It's like, whoa, I came up with that idea myself. I wanted to do this whole thing. It was just the phase of my life. Don't hold me to it. So I think that feels good. And it took a lot of time to get to that point, to go, just fuck it. Just do whatever you want. Like, people don't like it. They don't like it. You know, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Really, nobody cares. If you don't have a hit, nobody notices. They only notice if you have a hit. So might as well experiment. But,
So had you always been like DJing and producing then as well from being like a child?
Yeah, that was like a big thing that I really enjoyed as a kid. I remember getting Fruity Loops out of a Kellogg's box for PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
Like, when it first started, I was like, that's the first tunes that I started making. And then there's like these couple of really early tunes I started remixing Insomnia, I remember, on I think I bought Fruity Loops for my computer. Oh yeah, and then I didn't even know what this tune was, and you couldn't even get stems or like acapellas at the time or anything like that. And I had this, do you remember that? Going loco down in Acapulco. It's like, oh, this is just stuck in my head all the time. So I made like this massive like house trance version of that. My mate was a tidy DJ, in like the Tidy Boys. So we were like making tunes, and then he'd be going out and DJing as well. So it was like very much there, and I was like on target as a producer and a DJ to move forward doing that. It's really weird. Like, and then I was like singing on my guitar separately. I was like, oh, I could put the two together, and I never quite got it right at the time. And then I was going to be a mechanic, and my brother was like, you got to do music. You've got to do it. Please do it. So I went and studied music at Leeds College of Music. And just as I arrived there, my best mate had already told me, you've got to go do that as well. And then my two best mates died in a car accident. And
Right.
for some, like, I picked up this Otis Redding album in the library, and it just related to me so much. And I think that was the beginning of me being a songwriter and more song-led and more soul-led. And I think I was just on that journey for a little while and departed from dance music a little bit. However, I'd be going out till 6 a.m. every night in Leeds Uni and like in all the clubs and still getting my dance urge, but I just wasn't there anymore. And I'd be sat producing it still on my computer, but just not like putting it on my artist pages and stuff like that. So that's when it kind of went under the duvets and has lived there for a little while. But you know, like Love Me Again, you can hear it like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Dance track, like, you know.
With the new single, it kind of seems like, well, if you tell us about that, but it seems like it kind of reflects this whole journey that you've been on, like with mental health and stuff, like waiting for a lifetime. Like it just reflects that whole, everything that's happened in the last year or so. Yeah,
and I think it came from a place that's like this lyrical format that's like, I never knew what this thing was until I released myself of the chains and made myself happy and realized that I'd actually been waiting so long for me to be able to do that, to release myself. And I think there's a lyric in there that says, flashing lights, leave my tears on the dance floor, empty nights, I've been holding on for something more. And that is literally about the idea of running around the world, trying to escape every emotion and hide from everything that I've ever done wrong, that I'm embarrassed of, or ever done wrong to somebody, or spoken the wrong way, or all these things. And I think it got to the point where like I needed to write that song, and honestly when I wrote it I just felt so much better. But I think it's true, man, like everyone's waiting for that moment and whatever it is, and it all comes together. And I wanted to also relate that feeling into my relationship as well, that she has been there. And it must be like, do you know when somebody's like suffering from quite a hard time?
Yeah.
It must be a tough thing for the other side, man. Like, just like, she'd be like saying these things and I'd just be losing my nut at her. And I remember one day and just saying, look, I'm so sorry. I was just done with everything. I've got no temperament for any little confrontation or anything. And that's a tough gig, man. And like, I feel for anyone that's had to go through it in first person, but also as a partner of somebody as well. But it's amazing that anybody has got that person there, because I think that's when things go wrong, without the people there. So definitely. They say checking on your friends, checking on anyone, and it really is important. Like, you should. And I think if I didn't have Nana, my missus, I think I'd don't know. But anyway. So
I guess you're not worried about like people's high expectations or things like that.
I don't think I've got any high. Like, this is the other thing. Like, when you go through something like this, like you go, nah. Like everyone's concentrating on Ed Sheeran or like Justin Bieber getting in fights or whatever. They're not looking at John Newman right now. I'll be all right. I'll just slip under the rug. And if I have a hit, then everyone will look at me and it's fine because I'm having a hit. But right now, I think you just got to be realistic, man. Like, I can't walk around like wearing expensive clothes pretending it's all absolutely banging when, do you know what I mean? Like, I just, like, it's so stupid that celebrities act this way and like pretend that everyone loves them and da-da-da-da. When really, if you meet them as a person, you like, get over yourself. Like, be realistic. It was like, I don't know, Feel the Love came out 10 years ago now. Like, it's been a while, man, since I've done like crazy good. And I'm so proud of my achievements, but I'm also realistic in that I know that it's time to pull it out of the bag now. So yeah, let's see how it goes, man. I'm nervous shitting it, but it'll be fun. So.
Yeah. And I guess doing all these like collaborations with like Sigala and then your recent one with David Guetta, is that the kind of lane that you want to be in, these big like dance kind of world?
Yeah, I think it's something I've always done. I had this like vision that I was like, oh man, like imagine the kid inside like wanting to headline all these huge DJ gigs and like play these amazing dance festivals. I think that's what I'm set on. So the music has to follow that. And it feels good to me, and like I'm inspired by like all the stuff that I listened to as a kid, like the 90s rave sounds and all these sort of things are in there. And I think, it's something I'm crazy excited about, and it feels like I've got a project and I really look projects, whereas I didn't before. I got really disrupted by the single is key, get a single out, get a single out. I just felt like you're chasing last week's number one then, and you're not actually being you.
That's a good way of looking at it, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, well, I'll just focus on being me, and then they can pick singles out of that if that worked for me.
And are your, like, the live shows, so are they now a mix of you DJing, singing, a bit of everything?
Yeah, when I got in, do you know, you'll probably notice from a mental state of how now to reflect, and look, we work in business, like it is a business, and once you understand that, then it makes it a bit easier that you've got your hobby, then it will be turned into business, so be wise. I think once I sat back after everything and didn't think I was amazing anymore because I sorted my head out and fixed myself, started watching my shows, and I was like, oh, what's the fucking point in playing these ballads in front of like 120,000 people when all they're trying to do is queue for the bar at that point? And I was like, yeah, Love Me Again kicks off, all these like hits kick off. But if you watch Avicii play my song, or if you watch Calvin play my song, or Kygo,
it's a party, isn't it?
Yeah, they were going mental.
Yeah.
Like all the crowd was singing every lyric, and I was like, what? This is mental. I was like, why haven't I got that? And I was like, well, maybe I'm ready to move on from like, and now, you know, like if I went on stage in a suit and started doing this little shuffle, I'd have a mental down. It'd be too intense. It'd be like, oh my God, this is mental.
Yeah,
like, I can't handle it. And I think that was another thing that I was kind of starting to think, I look a bit stupid, really. I was like, I'm getting a bit older. I'm 31 now, and I was a bit like, I look a bit stupid doing that. So I was like, right, how do I make a sick live show? So I was like, got all these live elements, and then pulled in the DJ side of it, so I could put in these massive drops and things and keep the crowd excited instead of doing the ballads, give the energy. And also just show people that I want to go in a different direction. So if I play somebody else's track, it's fine, man. Like, it's just music, relax. Like, let's all just enjoy music. So,
just have a party. Yeah,
that's it. Like I've got nothing to, you know, I'm just up for a party. So I think standing behind the decks is more reassuring for somebody that has had a bit of a mental crisis. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I could stand on the front of the stage pretending I'm Alex Turner anymore. I was doing it. I'd like walk on in my own car with a flag, giving this stare around. I literally thought I was like James Dean or something for ages. Fucking jokes.
What's coming up the rest of the year then? So obviously live show, DJ/live shows. You got like a project coming as well as this single?
Yeah, I've got shows. I don't know how many I'll go through. We'll have to see. But to be honest, I think the exciting thing is I don't really know like what's but I didn't know that when I first started. Do you know what I mean? Like, the only reason I knew mid-career is because it's like, yeah, I'm releasing an album and it probably will do well or whatever. Whereas now I'm like, well, if the single doesn't do well, nobody's going to want to watch it live, you know? So I just have to see, man. But like, in all honesty, I'm just nervous. Like, I'm just crazy nervous, but really excited. And just, I know it's, to be honest, like, this is the point where I should probably say to an interviewer, like, oh yeah, I'm amazing. I've got all this and and I'm going to go and do all this. But like, the honest truth is I don't actually know because we're in a pandemic, but like, I could become the biggest artist in the world, or it might all go wrong. And that's the exciting thing about the future. And on my toes. So just wish me luck, I guess. And like, keep your fingers crossed for me.
Great way to end it.
See you later. Bye.